Welcome to the Shulamite Podcast, an extension of Shulamite Ministries and Shulamite.com, with weekly interviews and teaching with author and speaker Martha Kilpatrick and hosted by John Enslow. This weekly podcast is a way to stay connected to the ministry. So come experience anointed messages, not giving just another method, but a living impartation.
Gene said to me, and it's just been pierced in me like I wear it. He said, I want you to, don't do the conferences. Put on paper what's in you. And it has been my calling since then, Gene. That was from God. I'm to put it on paper. But it has been so impossible to do. So I'm begging you to see this, the importance of you to it. You may be the woman sweeping up the bucket, and you're the ones who give us food. You can't imagine the love and support we have and know from you. Not asking you for anything more. I'm just telling you this is what's our purpose, and it's yours. This book I'm working on, you will get the fruit in eternity. It will be your fruit. It's your assignment. It's your calling, and you will get the fruit of whatever God does with it. And we are getting enormous orders. The orders are way, way up, and I plead the blood over that. But John's books are going out big. And my dream is to give if I can get it done, when I get it done, watch something else.
Thank you.
I want to give many, 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 many books of the one war, the WON war, free. I want it, if that's how God will lead us, I want it to be available everywhere. Because it is such an answer to every individual and every group and every nation.
Yeah.
And when I first got the revelation, I was so confident in it. That's been attacked too. But I still believe fervently, violently even, that Jesus has won. We're not going, and I tell a story in the book about, and you may have heard about me not standing on the chair. I knew that when I got into the charismatic world, I knew they're dealing with warfare was not right, but I didn't know how to define what was right. So I went, some of you have heard this story. So a friend of mine told me about this woman in Florida that was an expert on warfare. So I got myself there on the plane and went to her, the church where she was speaking, and she started telling us how we have to defeat Satan. And she said, I want you all put on your boots, on your war boots, and we had to do this. And I went. And then she said, then you put on the armor, and they had everybody put on their armor. And I sat down in the chair. She said, now get up in your chair and take your sword and kill the devil. And so everybody got up but me. And I went, that's blasphemous. You cannot, will not defeat Satan. Jesus did that. And I was mad because it was denying him. They were getting all the glory of the warfare. And there's this stupid stuff they were doing, waving an imaginary sword. And somebody next to me said, aren't you going to get in your chair? And I said, no. And I left. But that's what propelled me to pursue what is warfare. And that's why he's given me the secret. He gave me that. So many times he's prodded me to want to know, okay, if that's not it, and I'm not waving no imaginary sword as if I've got anything, I don't know anything about warfare. And so he's given it to us, and I can't do this without you. I really can't. And I feel supported, and we feel the prayers. But I've never, until this trip, we didn't know what dangerous ground we're in, and how bad the battle is.
Hebrews 12:15, Amplified Classic. Exercise foresight and be on the watch to look after one another, to see that no one falls back from and fails to secure God's grace, his unmerited favor and spiritual blessing, in order that no root of resentment, rancor, bitterness, or hatred shoots forth and causes trouble and bitter torment, and the many become contaminated and defiled by it.
So the importance I'm seeing is not about just us. It has a far-reaching potential, and this is a microcosm for a huge macrocosm. This is what we're experiencing in our country, and I want to deal with it because I want it to stop in our country.
When I first got the revelation a few weeks ago, as we read that scripture over and over, to understand he took on a human body so that he could swallow and die for the human condition, which was under Satan. And like I say, just the night before he went to the cross was actually, he said something else about, I can't get it back right now, about the defeat of the devil. He took that on as an innocent man and saved us from it all. When you left, I asked, can you correct me? Am I wrong? Are you with me in this? Mm-hmm.
And from the book Chariot of Fire, this is page 68, energy, quote unquote, is a primary target of Jezebel, to sap, drain, and extinguish the light of God's indwelling spark, to implant weakness, physical, moral, and spiritual. That is the demonic Jezebel method of mastery. By fearless confrontation with Baal/Jezebel, God surges into your life with conquering enthusiasm, a joy of victory that energizes your whole being. This is God's infusion of vitality, and even his reward given to the believer who will challenge Baal head on. And page 43, speaking of Jezebel's teaching, Jezebel appoints herself, seizes a lofty position, spiritual position, not ordained by heaven, claiming to represent that place from which she has been expelled and rejected. She alleges to speak for God as God. Do not think Jezebel lives only in the barroom of vice. The ultimate Jezebel spirit is a religious zealot, driven by a mad ambition to be religiously superior to everyone, especially the genuine. Religious by a grandiosity she conjures up around herself, lying goodness, words only, no reality. She was passionate to create many prophets for the idol of her choice. She relished the hunt and kill of God's true spokesman.
And that's what we're seeing in our country. Literally. And so you've got people that are in positions saying that they're God, telling us what truth is. And after and trying to crucify the genuine. Their passion is to destroy the genuine. And I don't care what you think about the man. Trump is genuine. He's genuinely himself.
I don't understand the thoughts people have about him. I mean, genuine has been that way the whole way. I mean, he's the only guy that in my lifetime, in my voting lifetime, that has actually stood up for me. I don't get it.
But that's the whole point. It's a principality and power that he was willing to just say, enough, no more. He was tearing it apart, and that's what, with Martha's ministry, and I'm sure there's other Elijah spirits being raised, is the same thing. Is that wherever that spirit is rising up to confront Jezebel's spirit, which is right now in control, because of the fear factor of everyone, has given control over the Jezebel spirit. Any rising up, it's her duty to destroy, literally. Destroy, kill. As Jezebel did, she killed the prophets, the true prophets of God, where she could. And Elijah, his massive, major, was with Jesus in the Transfiguration. He was scared to death. Mm-hmm. You know, that's the awesomeness of it. Mm-hmm. It's not something lightly taken. and something that we just sort of, it's not dealing with the person's sin and dealing with what they are or what they're doing or even what they're saying. It's standing with God, that principality. It's almost seeing the demons behind, the movie The Devil's Advocate always said it. You're seeing the demons in those people, is that it's demonic force. It's not that person. That person has no clue they're captured. They're captive slaves. Captive slaves to demonic.
Well, the fact that he was so pursued the entire time and so violently, and now even when he's out, they're still trying to get rid of him. Exactly.
Because they're afraid.
Exactly.
They're afraid he will be back.
Well, not only that, but the reason why I see he was so assaulted was because he was brought to us God ordained. It was God's choice. That was God's choice. We were looking at God's choice. Who was it the other day that was talking about the anointing? Was it Lance? Someone was saying the other day that you can look at him. Okay, you can look at all the presidents.
That was wild, man.
But you know something? I was dead on with that. I said, "Oh my gosh, you're right. Trump looks wonderful, and he looks better. He does. He looks good."
When you see people come out of, being president, and what I enjoyed the most about that was that just the sheer weight of that responsibility. If you're not anointed to carry that weight, you can't carry it.
And their hair, all of them turn white.
But Trump comes out after 4 years of abusiveness and looks better. How can you not say he was not anointed?
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly it. Really, sure enough.
The thing that you, St. John, and that you read about the lady cleaning, I mean, just in what we do in construction, how important that role is. In the whole grand scheme of things, everybody talks about, you got to get the masonry right, the steel right, the framing right. But if you got a mess,
You know about that, don't
you
you?
can't even work in it, So, that's...
Well, and what I
The
loved
finish,
is
punch out and finish.
she got the whole thing. She was just sweeping up the trash, but she was on a mission in sweeping up the trash. It didn't matter her job.
Her job.
She valued her job, and she knew it was for the glory of God. We're building a cathedral, and my little part is going to build the cathedral. I don't have to be one of these, workers.
I'm gonna get really old
before I got there.
Well, it's just precious to me. It's just really, it was so precious to me. I was like, I said, I know John's going to love this.
But from God, that position is a very powerful position,
Yes,
don't
it
you
is.
think?
Yes, I do. And
Yeah.
it's willing to do the least thing, but it's for him,
Yeah.
not for ourselves. And that's, that was her secret. She could see big picture because she was doing it for God, not herself.
That's right.
Her little trash and broom.
Powerful.
Yeah.
Martha, when you first started talking, the one thing that came to me was that this thing you sent me a year, maybe it's 2 years ago, Kevin Zadai. It's rigged in your favor. Hebrews 2. It's already been done. It's rigged in your favor.
When I stood over the table, I said, "This is ripe fruit. Well, let's just make the salad. This is done. This is all done."
What you read, Dave, is just what I needed because I haven't been able to understand this peculiar weakness I have, and it goes on and on and on. And I come to something, and I simply cannot do it, and I can't explain why I can't do it. And doggone, it's just
Well, while we've been searching, or who is it that is doing this? What person? And as I was reading through that, it was like, not a person. This is a spirit of principality in different people, but fighting each of those or dealing with each of those people.
just so amazing to me is that God just opened it up. He is going to take care of it to the end. He's
But
going to.
I did that because Martha sent me during the week a picture of the table. And at first I was like, oh my, I'd sit down and cry. That was Martha.
And I did.
And she said, I've done that. I'm on to coffee. And I was like, but then it was, well, I don't know if it was the next day or the day after,
then I said to her, I sent her a text, I said, I have a new perspective on your picture. It's fruit. It's his fruit through you. It's fruit. And then John says, yeah, and it's ripe. It's ready to make a salad. I said, yeah, that's right. That's right. John says, we need a salad out of this. We need a fruit salad. It's all ready. And it was just, the Lord had to change my perspective because I was so disheartened that Martha was so disheartened. And that's easy to do because...
That's not even the mess. I cleaned it up a bit. That's not even the mess.
But
It
it's
was just
overwhelming. The
overwhelming
material
because
is
everyone
overwhelming.
was-
It's like you with the job. You see all the materials and it's like, holy moly.
Literally.
Now that I see that the problem with energy is the devil, I can win over that one at last.
You wrote a book. It's an amazing book. You should go take pictures of it there. We hope you've enjoyed the Shulamite podcast. For all the latest from Shulamite Ministries, please visit us at shulamite.com, where you'll find Martha's daily devotions, posts from getalongwithgod.com, and the online library of all of Martha's writings. At shulamite.com, downloading the free Shulamite app is easy, and livingchristianbooks.com is only a click away. Thank you for joining us on this journey to discover a God worth knowing.